Hello and welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and I hope you enjoy. So right at the start of the beta, I decided I was going to holiday until the year 3019 and that's exactly what I have done. As you can see, we are on the 20th of June 3019, which means we have holidayed for 1000 years. Now, I have done a part 1 of this. This is at 500 years. Link will be in the description. I suggest you watch that first, because that'll give you a bit more idea about things that happened pre 500 years. So you'll get all of that information as well. So that'll be in the description, as well as a link to download this file and have a look yourself. But without further ado, let's go and have a look at what has happened in the Premier League first of all. The only leagues loaded are the English leagues. So that's, yeah, we've only done the English leagues. English Premier Division, everything will take a while to load because we've just holidayed so far. But as you can see, Arsenal are the current champions in 3019. Peterborough, Hull and Barnsley make up the European places. QPR, Manchester United and Chelsea all in the Europa League. And getting relegated, Bristol City, Liverpool and Sunderland. Surprise teams in here: Lincoln and South Shields. One side, non-league side. South Shields you couldn't actually play on the original database because they are the 7th tier. So that's really interesting as well. And Lincoln as well are there. So let's have a look at the previous winners and stuff like that. So Arsenal have won the most times, 224 Premier League titles, which is really tremendous for Arsenal. It was Manchester City, I believe, after 500 years. Let's have a look at some of these statistics. I don't think many of them would have changed from the original one. 109, that was already done. Fewest points 4. As you can see, most of these happened. Look at that, fewest defeats in the season, 0. That will obviously never be broken because that is one that can just be equaled. 23 draws in a season, that's not been broken. Fewest draws in the season, 0. That will obviously never be broken. 140,000 is still the record attendance. 3,000 is still the lowest attendance. That stands from all the way back in 1993. 9-0 is still the biggest win as well, 7-4. So after 1,000 and a bit years, these records still are maintained, which is really interesting indeed. Going further down, see, none of these have been broken. Manchester United going 14 games without conceding, that's not broken. Most games without losing, 71 in the 2,882 and 284. That is a hell of a record by QPR, Queen's Park Rangers. 71 games without losing in the Premier League. That's over a season. That's absolutely fantastic. Nearly 2 seasons unbeaten. So some of these still stand. Most assists, that's a new one. 30 assists in a season. That is a tremendous record. Youngest player was 15, 216 years. I don't think the youngest goal scorer will ever be broken. That was a 64-year-old Billy Meredith. So let's have a look at the attendances. Highest attendance, look, Arsenal constantly winning the highest attendance record. Then Chelsea at 111. So Chelsea have actually downgraded. Which is interesting. Oh, now I've lost the 131,000. So it's interesting that some of the sides have downgraded their stadium in terms of size. Results, biggest win was just 4-0. So a couple of 5-0s, a couple of 6-0s. Most goals, let's see, 24-25 by this bloke. Can't see any 30s. 32. That always happens when you say something. And let's have a look at the past winners then. So Arsenal, QPR going through a big spell here in the early 3000s. Chelsea have won it. Barnsley have won it a couple of times. Hull. Arsenal had a very dominant spatch for about a decade over here. Very dominant indeed. Barnsley, Fulham with a couple of titles here as well. Wolves, Barnsley. Look at Barnsley from 2,916 to 2000. So they won over 12 titles in that time. So Barnsley with the team. Then Wolves as well. QPR have come back. Reading, that's a new side I think I've seen. Manchester United won it in 2,846. Carrying on down. South Shields. Did I just see South Shields? Don't think I did. Wolves, Arsenal, Hull, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Bristol City. Arsenal going for another big spell here as well. Lincoln City, they've won it a few times as well. QPR once again. Hull, they've won several titles. I wonder how many titles Hull have actually won. They've won 89 Premier League titles, 45 Champions Leagues as well. So Hull have been very successful on the database. Carrying on down, Manchester United, Manchester City, because Manchester City were dominant the last time I checked this database. And then Lincoln as well, carried on their dominance from last time. Cardiff, Chelsea, MK Dons have won it as well. And that is where we ended up. So let's have a look at the Championship and who's in the Championship. So in the Championship, Manchester City have been promoted. Fulham finished with 100 points. Who else are in here? Any big sides or any smaller sides? Tottenham are in here, which is a big club to be at our level. Leicester City, former Premier League winners, Leicester City are in the Championship as well. Cheltenham Town have rose up from League 2. Southend, but no real big teams in here. Championship, so that's all the teams in the Championship. League 1, let's have a look at the teams in League 1. Forest Green are definitely in there. Are there any surprises in here? Watford, Bolton Wanderers are in League 1. Brighton, so Watford and Brighton. Cardiff as well, they were all in the Premier League when this started. Who else have we got in here? We've got a few little sides. Bishop Stortford, St Albans, Dartford, they all play in the National League South, I believe. Harrogate Town, they're in the Conference Premier, the National League Premier. York as well, that's the National League North, as well as AFC Telford in the North. Sheffield Wednesday are in League 1, but no real big surprises in League 1. League 2. Hereford, my team, they are 16th in League 2 after all this time. Everton are surprisingly in League 2. Who else have we got in here? We've got Scarborough, Dorchester, Hungerford, some smaller teams. Notts Forest are in League 2. West Brom are in League 2. Ebbsfleet are in League 2. Macclesfield are still in League 2 1,000 years later. As a Bury, National League. So now we go into the non-league. Wigan are in here. Who else have we got in here? Plymouth, they're in League 1, so they've gone down a bit. No real big surprises though. Just Wigan really in there. Notts County, they're struggling this season. Could they be in there next season? We'll have to wait and see. National League North. Last time I checked this, Leeds were in here. And Leeds are still in here. So Rotherham are in the National League North. Preston are in the National League North. Leeds are in the National League North. Scunthorpe are in the National League North. And then we've got a few smaller sides like Ossett United, Bury Town, Lancaster. They're all in the National League North. National League South. Let's have a look at this league. Who are in this league? Nobody really of note. Stevenage probably the highest. Gillingham, but nobody really of note. So let's have a look at the FA Cup winners. So most Arsenal once again have won 120 FA Cups. That's a phenomenal record. Still some records remain. 26-0 Preston versus Hyde. I don't think that'll ever be broken. Cinderford went 73 matches without winning a game, which is absolutely incredible. That's lost in a row. Matches without losing. Matlock win 147 games. Matches without scoring, that's 22. Stourbridge. Manchester City have a record 9 games without conceding. between December 2020 and February 2022. 26-22 even. It's hard to keep up with all of these years. So let's have a look at the past winners. We have Chelsea, Fulham, Lincoln, MK Dons, Stoke, Bristol City. South Shields have won it. That's very interesting indeed. Chelsea, Manchester United. Manchester United are in the Premier League. I thought they were. I didn't see them. So I was like, Derby County. Millwall have won it. Sheffield United, Leicester City. Tottenham. Barnet have won it as well. That's very interesting. The National League side. Brighton, Derby. And then we go into Manchester City, have a bit of a dominant spell, winning 3 in a row. MK Dons, Watford, Portsmouth's a new name on the cup that I haven't seen lately. Shrewsbury won it in 23-62. Carry on down. Shrewsbury won it again. Sorry if I'm missing anybody. Portsmouth, Manchester City, West Ham, and that's all of them. We'll go to the Carabao Cup. Wonder if there's any interest in Arsenal once again, the most dominant side in that one. Still some records. 36 games without winning. Bishop Stortford went in the Carabao Cup. It's a run of over 3 years. That's absolutely incredible. Hull went 30 games without losing, which is interesting. Very, very good record. Have to keep an eye on that one. So let's have a look at the past winners of that. And then once again, the same sort of names: Shrewsbury, Arsenal, Manchester City, Watford, Stoke, Cardiff City. Who else have we got here? Brighton, Stoke, Manchester United, Southampton have won it. Walsall have won it. I think that's a new name. I don't think I've said them yet. You know, the same old teams. Everton, who are now in League 2. They won it in 2019. How have I gone so fast? But look at all of these teams that have won it. You know, a phenomenal record. I think I started up higher than. There we are. Hull are the current winners. Barnsley, Coventry, Southampton, QPR. Hull, they have their name is on this quite a lot. They've had a very, very successful 1,000 years. Wolves won it 3 times in a row. Wolves won it 3 times in 4 years. Reading won it a couple of times there. QPR won it 4 times in a row. Fulham won it 3 times in a row. Fulham won it twice in a row. Bristol City, Crystal Palace, Charlton. Hull won it 3 times in a row there as well. Cambridge, did I just see? Cambridge won it as well. So a lot of different teams have won the Carabao Cup, which is interesting, as you can see. Have we got anyone? Barnet won it a couple of times. That's absolutely fantastic. Millwall as well. But very, very good from each side. We'll just check the Checker Trade Trophy to see if there's anyone. Any of the big teams. Liverpool have won it. Chelsea under 23s have won it. That's just Chelsea under 23s. Everton have won it. Newcastle have won it. So Watford, Leicester. So a lot of sides have been in the League One and Championship have dropped out of the Premier League. So Liverpool haven't had the most successful time. If we have a look at how they've done in domestic leagues, they're currently in the Premier League, but they've been in League One, they've been in the Championship. Look at this long spell without going in the Premier League, only going in the Premier League once. You know, they really have struggled. Liverpool, League One, League Two, Championship, they've really, really struggled in recent times, Liverpool. We'll check on Manchester United and see if they've had a similar, or if they been fine, because it'd be interesting to see. Domestic leagues, Premier League, they have been in the Championship. They've been floating between Championship and Premier League. And they have a long spell in the Premier League. Championship doesn't look like they've been to League One in recent times, which is very surprising, because they, you know, a lot of these sides have gone, but Premiership, yeah. So they've done that. Let's have a look at Arsenal and see if Arsenal have indeed gone into the lower leagues. They've been probably the most successful out of every single team, so it would be interesting to see Premier League, Premier League, Premier League, Premier League. We'll go at a faster rate. Look at that. Premier League, Premier League, Premier League. They've been in the Premier League for the whole entire time. No! They got relegated in 2055-56 season. That's the only time they've been out of it since the experiment began, which is absolutely incredible. So Arsenal have done very well. So those are just a few teams we could look at. Let's have a look at the World Cup. The winners of that. So the record winners are Germany. The 199,000 has never been beaten. I don't think that can be beaten. I'm pretty sure the max attendance is like 150,000. So let's have a look at some of these record. 18-0. I think we've seen that before on the first one. 18-0 Argentina and Panama. 2050 France went 39 games without losing. Jake Morgan Lehman scored 7 times against Indonesia for England. Let's have a look at the past winners then. Argentina, France, Belgium, England, Ukraine, Ivory Coast have won the World Cup. England have been quite dominant. Denmark, Spain, Colombia have won it. Russia have won it. Portugal, Argentina, the Czech Republic. Morocco won it in 27-18. Carry on down, Germany. They've been very dominant in this competition. Holland as well, the Netherlands, they've done very well. Germany, England, France, Italy. Germany again. Switzerland have won it. That's very interesting. Carrying on down, Peru. That's also interesting. Denmark as well. So that's up until recent times. We'll try the European Championships as well, see if there's any interesting names on that. European Football Championships. Hosts are Ukraine and Poland, as it was in 2012. Let's get straight up to the top. Current holders are Portugal. Let's have a look at the most wins. Is Spain. Biggest attendance is 140,000. Somebody scored 11 times. That's a very good record. 38 was the oldest player. That's an old record. 40 years was the oldest player. Gabriel Carai. Anyway, so Portugal, Belgium, Croatia. That's a new name we haven't seen yet. Carry on down. We've got a lot of Spain, Germany, Czech Republic, France, Holland, Belgium, as well. Russia, Switzerland. So they've won both European and the World Cup as well. England had a very dominating time, which you would expect, considering that's the only league I had. Ukraine as well, so they won both. They won a couple as well. Scotland won it in 23-72. So it's been an interesting time. We'll try the Champions League. So most wins is PSG with 109. I don't know what happened in 25-43, but Salzburg had 431,989 people in. That is incredible. I don't know what happened in that year, but Jesus Christ. I wonder if highest attendance. So what happened in that year for it to be so? What year was it? It was 2543. 2543. 400. And the Bait as well. They've got a. Have they still got a big stadium? No. Well, that's very confusing. Salzburg, and there it is, 431,000. No idea what happened. I bet they've got a small stadium. 29,000. It was built in 2003. Where the hell were they playing that game? How did they get so many people in? That is very weird indeed. Here are the records. Lionel Messi still got 5 goals. Past winners then. So we'll go up to the top. We should start. It should take me to the top. PSG. It's very fitting that PSG, the team that's won it the most, have won it the last time. Arsenal, Milan, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, the teams you'd expect to win it. QPR, Arsenal, Krasnodar, they've won it. AZ Alkmaar have won it. Schalke and Borussia Dortmund won it in consecutive seasons. Slavia Prague have won it. Barnsley have a very, very, very dominant spell, similar to that of Real Madrid in recent times. They won it 4 years in the last 5, with English teams winning it in 6 consecutive seasons there. Inverness Caledonian Thistle won it in that year. Carrying on down Torino, Besiktas have won it. Torino again. Still some Real Madrid, Hull, Arsenal, Barcelona, PSG. Vidi won it. I think they've won it before. I think they've won it a couple of times. Oh wait, no, I'm getting confused. Vidi. Maybe they got runners up or something, because I definitely remember clicking on them before. Sparta Prague, they won it as well. Wolves, Aston Villa. Who else do we have here? CSK, Moscow, Spartak Moscow again. So a lot of Russian teams have won the league. Juventus, it's the first time we've seen them. Carrying on down, a very, 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 very long spell of English dominance over here. Fulham winning it 4 times in a row, then Wolves winning it 5 out of the last 6 seasons there. So Wolves are very dominant as well. We carrying on down. Real Madrid, Schalke, FC, Bayern Munich, Ajax won it as well. I'm not checking the runners-up. Icelandic team. We had a few Icelandic teams do very well, but we'll just check the winners. Celtic won it as well. Very, very good achievement for them. We'll carry on down. Lincoln have won it a lot. QPR, Hull, Chelsea, PSG again. KR, who play in Iceland, they won it in 2,667. Very, very well done to them. So a few Icelandic teams have popped up as well. FH, another Icelandic team, they won it as well. Manchester United, Manchester City, Schalke, Lincoln as well. They've had a very good time with it. PSG, Shakhtar Donetsk, Cardiff City, MK Dons. Very, very good indeed, and that's the end of that one. We'll go and have a look at the Europa League as well. So St Mirren were the latest winners, winning at Hampden Park. Oh wait, no, that's the following year. So KR won it as well. So that's another Icelandic team who have done very, very well. Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Roma, Besiktas, Sparta Prague, Molde, they've won it. FC RB Salzburg have won it as well. Ludogorets, Maribor, they've won it. Bate Borisov, Cliftonville have won it as well. Who play in, I think it's Northern Ireland. Yeah, Northern Ireland, that's incredible as well. Vitesse have won it, the Chelsea affiliate team. KR have won it as well. The Icelandic team, Metalak, who are a Serbian team, they've won it. Vidi have won it. Rosenborg, I believe they've won it before as well. Torino won it. Basel have won it. Carrying on down, Marseille have won it. Rapid Vienna have won it. Southampton and Charlton have won it. QPR, FH have won it. KR have won it. Carrying on down, Salzburg, Sporting Lisbon, I think that's a new name. Celtic have won both of them now. Ludogorets and Metalek have won it again. IEK have won it. Maccabi Tel Aviv have won it, which means an Israeli team have won the Europa League. Carrying on down, Cliftonville have won it again. Celtic have won it again. Cliftonville won it for a 3rd time. Sion have won it. Who else have won it? Steaua Bucharest have won it. Slavia Prague, Fenerbahce, Atletico Madrid. I think that's the first time I've said Atletico Madrid, which is very surprising. Carrying on down, Maccabi Tel Aviv. Genk have won it. This Greek team have won it. Not heard of them. Young Boys have won it. Real Madrid, Monaco, Salzburg. These have won it. Hungarian team have won the Europa League. Who are these? Finnish team have won the Europa League. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one. Carlisle have won the Europa League as well. Just so many teams have won this Europa League. It's unbelievable. We're carrying on down. Millwall have won it. Can you imagine Millwall going on a European top? Another Hungarian team have won it. Carry on down. So many different nations have won it as well. Not just the same different clubs have won it, but different nations. Like Hungary have come up, and Israel and Iceland, and that's very interesting indeed. And we finish there. So let's have a look at the records. Arsenal have won it the most times, there's no surprise there. 800,000 Ludogorets had against this team. What the hell happened? And 11. Lowest attendance, 11. 11 people turned up for a Europa League game. You can't get it. You can see that Ludogorets didn't have very good attendances for the rest of the games. So let's have a look at the attendances. 2,955. See, these attendances are huge, some of them. 955, 806, 700,000. Jesus Christ. I don't know what goes on. So here are all of the records. A 14-year-old made a youngest goal scorer for Sparta Prague in 2,157. Oldest goal scorer was 39, 2,623. Sorry. So that's very interesting as well. It's just been unbelievable. Let's have a look at the best player on the game at the moment. His name is Jean-Marc Villard, and he is a French international who plays in midfield for Real Madrid, and he will be joining PSG. Move for 175 million. I wonder how much he's moving for to PSG. 115 million. I imagine PSG have just dominated this. Absolutely dominated it. Look at that. And that's what you'd expect with this. Hang on, wait a minute. Yeah, they've just dominated it, haven't they? Which is what you'd expect, because I haven't got the leagues loaded. So that's what usually happens, is one team sort of dominates the whole entire league, which is very, very disappointing. But there's nothing really going to do. At the end of the day, if I loaded loads of different leagues, I would just end up, having to wait another, 3 or 4 months to get it to 1,000, which just isn't worth my my sort of time. Because this took forever. I was doing 100 hours a week of holidaying. It's taken an awful while. I can't think of anything I would want to look at. I might have a look at the Hall of Fame. Richard Brown is the most attended. Look at that, by far. So he's won the World Cup once with England. He's won 2 Champions Leagues. He's won 2 Club World Cups, 3 French Cups. He's won only one Ligue 1, 1 French Cup. So Copa de la Ligue, which is the League Cup. Reading, he was very successful. Rosenborg, Stevenage, he won. Doesn't seem like he won an awful lot. But it's his time at Wolves. 10 Premier League wins, 6 Super Cup wins, 8 Champions League wins. That's why he's become the most successful. Born 2,800. Matthew Collis is second. Have we got any proper English people? I imagine like Alex Ferguson might be in here, but no, they're all regens. Absolutely incredible. Continent. Yep, it's Richard Brown again. Nation. England. It's not Richard Brown, it's Tom Sargent. He's had a very good career as well. Make no mistake about it. Nationality Richard Brown as well. So it's been a very, very, very interesting. Look, at the end of the day, I can't cover everything. But if there's anything you want to have a look at, feel free to download the database in the description. And you can have a look. It's going to be quite a large file, so it's going to take a while to download. But it's definitely is worth it, particularly if you wanted to look at, for example, if you wanted to look at how a Bournemouth did. That's what you can do. But I think I'm going to end it there. I think I've looked at pretty much everything there is to look at. If you did enjoy, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe if you are new. I hope you can, appreciate it took me a ridiculous amount of time. Let's have a look at the game status. 31 days, 22 hours and 9 minutes game time. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's been saved 4,491 times. Yeah, it's game date 26th 2019. It was created on Saturday the 20th of October. That is just after I got back off holiday, and I've been holidaying ever since. The game does allow the in-game editor. It's not been used to create any of these results. I've not used it. So if you wanted to look at behind the scenes, you know, the things behind the editor, then you can, but I've not used that in any way. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to download the file and have a go yourself. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.